So the best way to make this flat is to use a router. That's what this tool is right here. It basically is just a big motor that spins a router bit around really fast. In this case we have what we call a flush trimming bit, and all it's going to do is just remove a bunch of this wood in straight paths according to whatever height I set this trim at. Now, to get it perfectly flat, we have to make sure that this router is positioned in a way that it goes across the wood totally flat. So in order to do that, we have this set on a very flat surface, and then we bring over what we call a routing sled that positions the router perfectly parallel to the table. So as the router goes over the wood, it's going to create a relationship to the table that's perfectly flat. So let's watch how I do this. Now, before you ever turn on a router and do an exercise like this, we need to make sure that we have hearing protection, dust respirator to protect your lungs, and eyewear. There's going to be so much waste being created out of this wood as we move the router over it that it's going to be spreading on my face. I'm going to be breathing it in, and I need to protect my eyes. Okay, so now that we've flattened the wood disc, it's nice and flat, nice and smooth, what we have to do now is flip it over and flatten the other side. Now again, because we are referencing a flat table and have a sled, router sled that is flat and parallel to the table, we're going to get a perfectly flat side that is parallel to the other side. So that's how you're going to be able to flatten a really irregular shape like this. So we now have a perfectly flat on both sides little wood disc. Now you'll see after you do a routing like this, you're going to have little rivulets in the wood. So the next step after this is simply to sand it down to where all of these little channels in the wood get removed. At that point, you're ready to do the finishing sanding, and then finish it with whatever oil or lacquer or shellac that you want.